Yeah, I'm glad you said thick skin because the thing I highlighted on the first, I mean, it's page 11 in the copy that I have. But it's like the first page of content, so to speak. You wrote something really great, which is thicken your skill and your shell. I highlighted thicken your skill. I never heard that before. Absolutely love that phrase because we tend as creatives to think more about like, oh, you just have to have thick skin. You just have to like be able to take it, which it being feedback, right? Which isn't untrue, but you also have to pair that with thickening your skill. There is a good chance that the design or the draft or the whatever deliverable wasn't actually good enough, and therefore you weren't actually good enough to execute on that thing. So you need to thicken your skill and continue to get better
Hmm.
instead of just assuming that you have thin skin. Make the assumption that you have thin skill and thicken it up. I love that phrase.
Yeah, and it's not quite like the. I guess the best way to kind of put it is it's like when you're doing let's say a graphic design, right? Someone's constantly, we've all heard the joke, make the logo bigger, make the logo smaller.
Right.
The reality is oftentimes the reason people are telling you to do that over and over again is because they don't like the logo,
Right.
right? People don't realize like it's their dissatisfaction with that thing, and so instead of worrying about your feelings and oh man they just don't like the logo placement, it's like, well, maybe instead of making the logo bigger, make the logo better. So
Yeah.
get your skill set up to where, because if you're smarter about what you do and you have more knowledge about what it is you have chosen to do professionally, everything just kind of sets in place. Like your shell will grow because you can back up what you tell people you're going to be able to do with your skill.
Yeah. In screenwriting, we call it the look for the note behind the note, right? Like if you send a draft of a screenplay to a handful of people and you might get, let's say you send it to six people, you might get six different sets of notes about one specific scene, right? With six different versions of like, here's what I think you should do with this scene. No, it's your job to figure out what to do with that scene. You've just learned that that scene isn't working. So don't necessarily ignore the specific notes that you're getting, but like you were saying with like make the logo bigger, make the logo smaller, position it this way, adjust the canting, adjust the kerning. It's like, well, take a step back and be like, what's the note behind the note? What aren't they liking about it? And then do the work with the skill that you have to provide some more options that don't just address that one particular thing, but actually maybe make the adjustments that you really need to make.
Yeah, absolutely.